unfolding in Fort Pierce. First, a semi-truck driver on the Treasure Coast accused of murder. The Pompano Beach man was initially arrested after St. Lucie County deputies found blood inside the cab of his big rig in Fort Pierce last week. Well, now the sheriff has revealed the identity of the murder victim. CBS 12 News reporter Antoinette Delbel joining us from the truck stop in Fort Pierce with what investigators have discovered.
This pilot truck stop is where deputies first arrested Olson Jean after finding that blood on his semi, which was abandoned right behind here along South Rock Road. At the time, investigators had no idea that his cousin's body was inside that truck. Inside the cab of this red semi-truck, a gruesome discovery on Friday. Sheriff Richard Del Toro says the driver, Olson Jean of Pompano Beach, shot his cousin, 32-year-old Wendy Moncion, in the back of the head, then hid his body.
So a lot of times at truck stops, different things like that, they'll take breaks, they'll sleep. So there's a bed back there, and underneath that bed, that's where the body was stored.
The investigation actually began the night before, around 10:30 Thursday, when someone driving along South Rock Road saw Jean acting strangely and called 911.
The caller provided clothing description and advised that a black male was observed lying on the ground and rolling around on the west side of the roadway, behaving erratically.
Deputies spotted Jean walking along the narrow road and started asking questions after finding his empty semi in a shallow ditch nearby with blood on the door and inside the cab. He was arrested a short time later.
Throughout this encounter, he provided inconsistent statements regarding his actions.
During their investigation, deputies say they found a rifle and a handgun they believe Jean tried to hide near a canal by the semi-truck. Investigators say Jean was driving his rig from Georgia back to Florida with his cousin. It's still not clear exactly when Wendy Moncion was killed, but deputies believe it happened sometime after he spoke with family around 6:30 that Thursday evening.
After the search warrant was done, we found the body and, conferred with the medical examiner's office. We started putting two and two together.
Deputies still don't know the motive, but this investigation is far from over. The sheriff says they're now testing the guns found by the scene to see if one of them was used in the murder. In Fort Pierce, Antoinette Delbel, CBS 12 News.
Is Olson Jean, 41, of Pompano Beach, Florida. And during our initial contact, deputy advised him they had received a call reporting that he had been lying on the ground, and he basically just stated he was taking a breather. When asked where he was coming from, he claimed he was just jogging around, gesturing north in a circular motion. And when asked where he lived, he pointed behind himself and said, on the other side. So throughout this encounter, he provided inconsistent statements regarding his actions and destination and was uncooperative with our deputies. Deputies then asked Jean about the unoccupied red tractor trailer located near the intersection of South Rock Road and State Road 70, and he denied any association with this vehicle, and this was key. He stated, "I drive a waste management tractor," and following initial interview, he left the area on foot. We had no reason to really detain him at that point. So following their contact with Jean, deputies shifted their focus to the red tractor associated with him. They observed a dried reddish substance consistent with blood on the vehicle's exterior, including the passenger side door and exterior side step, as well as a significant amount of blood inside the cab. Based on these observations and the potential for life-threatening emergency, deputies conducted an exit search of the vehicle's cab. While the search was being conducted, Jean was observed nearby and made comments regarding the deputy's search of the vehicle, asking them if they needed permission to conduct such a search. As the investigation progressed, deputies and detective corporals linked the tractor to Jean and focused on locating him due to multiple unanswered questions. He was located at the pilot tractor stop on State Road 70, where he initially ignored commands and resisted detention. He was eventually detained and transported to the sheriff's office for further questioning, and throughout this questioning he was uncooperative and refused to provide clarification regarding the circumstances that led to the vehicle being abandoned along the roadway. So some of the forensic evidence and evidence findings that we had is on January 16th, our crime scene investigators tested the reddish substance on the exterior side step of the red tractor trailer, and it tested positive for human hemoglobin. Deputies canvassed the area near South Rock Road and recovered a Palmetto State Armory PA-15 rifle, a Springfield Hellcat handgun, and handgun magazines matching the Springfield handgun as well. The firearms and magazines were located near a canal and appear to have been intentionally placed there. During this investigation, it was confirmed that Jean was also the owner and operator of the tractor trailer that was found abandoned. So our victim information, deputies executed a search warrant on the 2020 Freightliner tractor trailer. Inside a storage compartment beneath the sleeper, the bed area in the back, deputies located a deceased adult male identified as Wendy Moncion, 32, of Coconut Creek, Florida. The medical examiner conducted an autopsy on January 17, 2026, determined the cause of death to be a single gunshot wound to the back of the head and ruling the manner of death as homicide. We learned, our investigators later learned that Mr. Moncion had been traveling from Georgia to Florida with Mr. Jean, as Jean reportedly expressed safety concerns to family members about sleeping in his truck during stops along the route to Florida. His last contact with family, Mr. Moncion's, was on January 15, 2025 at approximately 6:40 p.m., after which he has been unaccounted for. So on January 17, 2026, Detective Corporals with the Criminal Investigations Division arrested Olson Jean as a result of this investigation. He's been charged right now with first-degree murder with a firearm, tampering with evidence, as well as obstruction with justice without violence. He remains incarcerated at our jail with no bond, and a $50,000 bond for the tampering charges. No bond for the first-degree murder charge, $50,000 bond for the tampering with evidence charge, and a $500 bond for obstruction. So with that, I just want to make it clear, thank you again to our citizen for the See Something, Say Something, reporting this without their calling this in. We were never led to this investigation, and I'm just thankful we were able to make an arrest in this case thanks to the work of our detectives. And with that, I will answer any questions anybody has about this case.
Sheriff, how did the two meet?
They're related. They are cousins, from what we understand from the suspect's wife. Yes, sir.
Why were they traveling from Florida to Georgia?
From Georgia to Florida. So our suspect was afraid, basically, according to the wife, basically has been kind of paranoid lately, acting kind of erratically. She expressed the fact that when he returned from Florida, they were going to look to maybe get some mental health treatment for him. So we believe Mr. Moncion and his cousin flew up to Georgia, or traveled to Georgia, with the intent of accompanying back here to just basically keep him company. And for whatever reason, he decided to kill our victim.
Yeah, that kind of leads into my next question. Do we know a motive yet? Is that still under investigation?
It's still under investigation as of right now. We do not know the motive right now.
When exactly was he murdered then?
Sometime after the 15th at 6:40 p.m. That's the last time his family had contact with him.
And I know forensics, they were checking the bed in the truck. What was kind of the smoking gun connecting, the suspect to the victim? Anything?
Well, the suspect with the victim, they were family members. He lied initially about owning the truck. We later determined the truck came back to an LLC, contacted the LLC, the owner of that business. He leases that truck to our suspect. So that was a bold-faced lie. The fact that, he had nothing to do with the truck. Blood all over, the scene there, his erratic behavior. There's still a lot more investigation to do, especially with the firearms we found near the scene there. It looked like they were placed near that canal. We want to do some testing on those to see if one of those guns was in fact used in the murder.
Has the body of Moncion been found at this time?
The body of Moncion was in the back of underneath the sleeper bed. Our deputies just did a cursory search for just exigent circumstances, just to make sure there wasn't an immediate threat. I mean, without a search warrant, they really had no, probable cause to go in there and just lift up the bed and do a full search in there.
So when did Jean and the victim, I guess, leave from Georgia, come to Florida?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just before the 15th. I don't know the exact date.
Was there like a tractor, like where the hauling part on the back of the semi, or had they dropped that off, or do you know?
I do not know. It wasn't part of the crime scene, from what I understand.
Sheriff, is it believed that Jean shot him inside of the tractor trailer?
Based on the amount of blood, it's possible. We're just still more investigation to do, though, in this case.
Was the body found first with a gunshot, and that's what precipitated the search for the guns?
We were doing a search for the whole area, just for all types of articles and things like that. We did it at night. We did it in the morning as well as a follow-up. But obviously, after the search warrant was done, we found the body and, conferred with the medical examiner's office. We started putting two and two together.
And just for a minute, touch on this, the blood found inside the vehicle, was that Moncion's blood?
There's more testing to be done in that, but we are quite certain that it is, yes.
Roughly, how far away were the firearms from the
I don't know.
semi-truck?
It was near the canal, I'm not exactly sure. I'll find out for you, though.
Do you think the place of death was inside the truck? Or in the cab? I mean, where?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Yes, ma'am.
Can you just maybe describe where the body was found again?
Sure. So, you know, sure, tractor trailers, you know, the front cab area where the driver sits, usually there's a bigger area behind where the driver sits and the passenger sits. It's like a sleeping area. So a lot of times at truck stops, different things like that, they'll take breaks, they'll sleep. So there's a bed back there, and underneath that bed, that's where the body was stored and found.
Deputies found that body that night that
After-
a citizen called 911.
No, the next day after a search warrant was executed on it. Correct.
Initially, they released, or you guys released a surveillance picture of him at a business. What's that relationship to the case?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. I'm gonna.
I think it's in the pilot.
Yeah, when this first came out, they gave us a picture of the truck, and they gave us a picture of the suspect, but he was like walking into a door. It was not
Yeah, I'd have to look.
inside.
I'm gonna have to look into it. I'm not sure.
Last thing for me, Sheriff,
Yeah.
was just, did you guys recover the suspect's clothing? Did you believe he showered after the shooting? Was there any blood found on the suspect himself?
I'm sure the detectives are looking into all that, and whatever was found is going to be tested. And there's more work. There's a lot more work to be done on this case, for sure.
You mentioned that Jean hadn't been seen for like almost a year, basically. Is that right? Excuse me. Correction. The victim of the homicide hadn't been seen for about a year prior to this.
No, that's not correct. That's not what I'm understanding.
The concerned citizen, was that someone at Pilot or was that someone living along Rock Road?
That was someone just driving by.
Just
Saw
driving
that.
by.
Yeah.
Does he have a criminal history, the suspect?
I believe he does. I don't know exactly what it is, though.
Just talk about your officer's determination, your detectives. I mean, it sounds like you guys were out there for quite a while trying to put pieces together.
Sure. So, I mean, you know, we use accurate, timely intelligence in all we do. We like to analyze as much information as we can based on reports, based on evidence. We like to use effective tactics and rapid deployment of our resources, but most importantly, what I just can't stress enough about our crime reduction strategy is relentless follow-up. I don't care how small the tip is. I don't care how little, you know, if a credit card gets stolen out of a vehicle and gets used down in Boynton Beach at a gas station, we're going to go to Boynton Beach to see if we get any video of that card being used. That's what's going to make us successful. It's following our process. It's just being relentless with all the information we get. That's the standard we have here. That's what they do. They had a very busy week this past week, and my hat's off to them. They've been shorthanded for a while with manpower as we're going through our reorganization. But you know what? It's all hands on deck when something like this goes down. And we got to make sure we're just doing the very best we can do in treating people how we want to be treated. And if that was our family member that was involved in something like this, that's what really we want to strive for, that level of excellence. Yeah.
And going off that, Sheriff, you talked about the importance of that citizen alert. If you
Yes.
can just touch on that again, you know, if, you know, without that call, you know, what
Mm-hmm.
could possibly let up, just kind of the importance of that call.
So, you know, we have 800, you know, team members here at the Sheriff's Office that work hard to keep our community safe, sworn and civilian, and that's obviously not nearly enough to, you know, provide law enforcement and safety for 390,000 residents here. So our community is our extra eyes and ears, and that's why it's so important that we focus on building relationships with our community, building legitimacy in what we do, doing things with integrity so they trust us. When they call us, we're not going to blow things off. We're going to do things the right way. And I just think it's a testament to the job the deputies do day in and day out here, our civilians do day in and day out here, building that trust. We ask people, we hit on this all the time. If you see something suspicious, please call us. And I say this all the time when I go to homeowners meetings and things like that, because people always say to me, you know, what's the non-emergency number that I can call for something that's not an emergency? We don't really operate that way. It doesn't matter if it's an emergency or non-emergency. 911 is the number you call. They will determine whether or not it's going to be, you know, what type of tier it's going to be from a response level. Obviously, if it's not an emergency, it might not get to it in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But I say, you know, you're never bothering us. by calling 911. This is what we go to all that training for. This is what we signed up to do, to serve people, help people overcome the challenges they're facing, solve their problems. You're never bothering us. This is what we do, is what we live to do. So I encourage anybody, if they see something suspicious out there, please call us. And that led to this investigation, that led to this outcome, and I'm just thankful for that person today for doing that. So, all right.